Currently, there is nobody.
Okay, thank you, Mia.
All right. Mhm. Who's up to bat tonight?
I don't know.
No.
Bill,
Okay, I'll do.
there you go.
Stand for a moment of silence for our service folks and then pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ready.
Culpepper,
Here.
Trevon,
Here.
Newcastle,
Here.
Geisler, Judd. Here. Nichols,
Here.
Roseback.
Here. Set for all that. Okay, we're gonna move on to public comment. No one's online, Cassie?
Nope, no one's online.
Is there anyone here that would like to address the council about something this evening during public comment that's not on the agenda? So you folks, you just have to attend, right? Okay. Yes, sir.
Good evening, I'm Lee Hendrickson, and I reside at 408 Shiawassee Street. And my comment that I'd like to make is about the condition of Shiawassee Street. You know, the far ends have been paved, but not the middle part. And while there are only 5 houses on the street, I understand that may not justify the effort to go and get that done. It does serve as the backup for Grand River when it's blocked. And it does get a lot of traffic, which is surprising to some. I don't know if you would be wanting to put a traffic counter on it to get an idea of the traffic volume that occurs there. But it would be really appreciated if the paving could be done on that last segment, because the road is turned to gravel in a number of places. And you know, I understand you're working on a long-term capital plan, but this is really kind of a major issue from the standpoint. We get traffic that's going to the golf course. We get it's people that come on Woodbury trying to get downtown, take Shiawassee. And you know, I guess our concern is that while we understand city endeavors to seek grant funds to fund these projects, we would hope that there would be a way that you could fit this in your capital budget to accomplish it. So I appreciate the service of council members, law enforcement, and those are my comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They're so noted. Is there anyone else?
Mike, I'm gonna say.
Certainly.
Hi, Lisa Jonick. I want to say thank you for those of you that played in our golf. I'm looking at Mike, I'm looking at Dan, who played in our golf fundraiser yesterday. I'm going to tell you, it was awesome. The board was so happy with the turnout. We had 84 golfers, 33 hole sponsors, a 50-50 of 200. I think that guy won. Do you know who that guy won that won the 50-50? Mike, tall, thin, or Dan? Really tall. Nobody on the
Was
board.
he the Afro American guy?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, it wasn't him, but he was a super tall, thin man with a white, and the board goes, who was that, Lisa? Because I got your picture when you won the big prize and the winning golf team, but nobody seemed to know who he was. Okay, so you know, oh, well, whatever. But I just want to thank you guys for playing and just being a part of all this. So it's just making the connection more and more of a reality. The more we raise money, get that building finished, a lot of good connections there with different businesses that participated. So I just want to thank you. Yeah, so hopefully we'll get it.
After we got all done, we got the string game explained to us. I had a hole in one on 17.
Oh.
Because it hit the pin and went about that far away. We still had that much string left. I could have had a hole in one, didn't even know it. It was a great time.
Good.
I think Dan's team had a great time. I'm speaking for him, but I know our team did. We just had a blast. So,
It looked like people did,
yeah, it was a
so
nice fun outing. So
thank you. I just thought to give an update. Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll move on to anything else in comments. We got everybody covered. Okay, we'll approve to go to the minutes and approve June 7th, 2021 and June 28th, 2021 minutes. Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Is there any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by aye. Motion carried to accept the minutes is written. Treasurer's report, approval of the treasurer's report.
Motion to accept. A second.
We have a motion and second to approve the treasurer's report. Any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by aye. Motion passed to accept the treasurer's report. Items of business, approval of the below the hill blues festival and street closure.
I gave you an update tonight.
Oh, it's on the day.
No, we actually have a date. I was just guessing that I thought Mike had told me it was October, but he called me this morning. It's September 25th.
Okay,
And he asked if I could take care of it or if he needed to attend, and I said, I think we can handle it.
so you have an explanation of something that's been done in the past. I guess we just need a motion to put it in force.
Make motion.
A second.
I'd like to have discussion on the
Motion
wording
and
of this,
second,
please.
then
Okay.
discussion, yes. Go ahead, Alan.
I'm just, my concern is the wording where they said extended outdoor seating area in front of the premises.
What does he mean by premises? Means other than his building? I don't want that in front of Boondocks extended seating.
Be in the roadway.
Yeah, just.
Okay, but when it said premises, it's,
Well, everyone can pull hairs on it. The sidewalk is a sidewalk.
Well, that's not a motion, so you
No.
can. make
well,
a
no, I
motion.
just want to know how, what the wording, what it meant.
Yeah, what it means.
I think last year we did it in front of his premises.
Yeah, that went.
Right.
Yes,
And it-
To cross
that's
the
what it
street.
meant,
Okay.
was his building.
and the
then-
sidewalk was left open to walk
Yeah.
in and out. But you
Right.
could, had to get in through the back. Is that correct?
Right, you have to go in through the back.
Yeah,
and
that's
come
what I
Yeah,
back.
because as long as you're serving up front, you had to come in through the back. You couldn't go in and out through there.
And he has to get a special liquor license, right, Dan, and then they would approve the area that he can serve. in.
Well, he's already got that outdoor
Yeah,
service.
So he won't be extending that into the street, or no?
He's only allowed that area he's got right now for the alcohol. If they want additional alcohol in there, he'll have to get another.
So the
permit.
band
I'm
will be
sure
in
he
the street?
will.
The band was usually.
Against the
sidewalk
building.
there.
They're usually against the building.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'll work with Mike on that. For that additional area, because that seated area is a special license.
Yeah, I thought he had to still get another license to
Correct.
do this event.
Yes.
And so, Alan, your biggest concern is just that your door entryway is open.
Yep.
The chief, you probably make sure that's.
You don't have an objection to him being in the street.
No.
Or your place.
No, just in front of my, no.
Just in front of the door.
Can I say, I guess, because this affects the clothesline too, we're on the other
Right.
side. Is this at night, Paula?
Yeah.
Is this
Yeah,
any-
it's from 4 PM to 11 PM.
Is this on Saturday?
Yes,
That would not affect, yeah, I would be considered this during the day.
and he's done this before. so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
I think
know.
I've been down there before, but I
Okay.
just, yeah, I didn't know what's, okay.
Yep,
Just open all my windows.
he said the band would start at 4 and go till 11, and then we talked about closing the streets a couple hours before that. And then the DPW will have to come in and move the barricades, like at midnight or something.
Yeah, which they've always
2 to
done
12:30.
pretty good.
That's why we put 2 to 12:30 to give the guys time to get it set up and tore down.
Okay.
So
So. there was no motion.
So the.
We good with the motion?
I am, as long as
Yeah.
Alan is,
Yeah,
and
that's
everybody
fine.
understands the door.
I just-
needs to be
When,
locked.
when it, just the wording, the way,
Yeah.
when it says premises instead of like the
To his
premise.
premise.
Yeah, that's where I was,
So. All right, any other discussion? No discussion then?
Up to you.
Do a roll call, please.
Okay. Redline,
Yes.
Newcastle,
yes,
Going, but still.
Judd,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Rhoda,
Yes.
Culpepper.
Yes. I figured that was just what we'll get, we'll make sure. Motion carried. Item number 4, consider SATA funding request for 21-22. And the amount is in $4,748.94. If that's up to date and correct, which I believe
Right,
probably
and
is.
this year's, I think it's, no, I don't know if I included that. Well, that was the one for, yeah, I don't know, she gave a bunch of numbers, and this year's number came in a little less than what we had,
Before,
what we had authorized.
so we've had
So,
96 rides, 2.7% in the city.
But that probably went down partly because because of the school not being in session too, probably, I imagine.
Oh, I'm sure it played a part of it, because I know there's kids that use it for.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the school, so.
So I was
So,
looking at all the numbers there.
motion to put that on the table for discussion.
I moved. Before.
Second,
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
Yeah, I mean, we've done this for years, and the price that they quote isn't necessarily the price that you pay, because if your ridership is down or other municipalities kick more in, we don't necessarily, 47.48 is the maximum, and probably we will wind up paying less than that. I don't like it, but it's necessary. I don't like it only because ridership, and in past discussions that we've had, they said that they were going to do some promotion. And, we should probably do some promotion too. I mean, if it's a municipal benefit that we provide, then people should be aware.
And we promote it in the newsletter, and we post it in our office here. We could probably do a little more on social media like Facebook or something.
Yeah.
And they do a pretty good job of promoting it as well.
Anyone else?
Well, you can't get it over.
All right, we'll do that roll call again, please.
Redline, Newcastle,
yes,
Judd,
Yes.
Nichols,
yes,
Rhoda,
Yes.
Pepper.
Yes. Motion carried. Support SATA. Item number 5. Consideration of purchase of property at 300 East Grand River Road. For those that may not be, if I'm on base or on tap, we're looking right up here at the storage units. City and the school have combined their knowledge together and come up with a plan to purchase it and share it. So. Council, that's what's on the item of business.
Will the price come down at all from the original price? Or is it the same?
It's down a lot from the original.
Okay, I wasn't familiar with what the original price was. I was just curious. I've seen that, so.
It was like a pancake mix out there flipping for a while.
Gotcha.
It came to something, so it was less, yes.
Gotcha.
I'll personally make a motion that we venture into purchasing this.
I
property.
second that. We definitely need,
You can't turn it down now. You got a partner.
right,
Are we also putting in the motion to give her the,
The authority and the
The
right to
authority
sign
to
the
do that.
papers and do what she needs to do to get this thing closed up. That's my motion.
I gave you a sample resolution, right?
yeah,
this. I didn't see that one, but
Basically,
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
it
okay.
authorizes,
Yeah.
the purchase, the price, and for
Everything
me to
else.
sign all the documents.
I did read it. just
And the
didn't-
partnership.
Yep, and the,
And enter into the partnership, so. That is my motion and second, any other discussion?
I just think it's gonna be a all-around good investment for the city and the school.
I agree.
Well,
And
that
that corner
Friday
lot,
night?
Have you ever driven past there at 7 o'clock in the morning?
yeah,
It's nuts. Somebody's gonna get hurt. So this, not only is it an asset, but it's also a health and safety issue.
the hope is to develop a site plan that improves the patterns, the traffic pattern there, and provides parking for the school and the city at the same time. So the school will use it during the day and maybe during like basketball and events like that, and the city would be able to use it during, you know, the business time and then when we have events. So that was the reason for partnering with the school, because I felt it was important that they be included in that decision, just because it really, they need something there. So
True salvage value to the buildings.
the school had talked about maybe using some of the materials for like another barn, or maybe, you know, so I think there is, you know, there might be some salvage value there. For sure.
Sell the race I shed, sell a whole shed, it's separated.
Right.
Somebody-
Might be able to, so.
I'm in.
And then people who have storage in there now, if I understood this correctly, have 3 months to get their stuff out.
It looks like it, yeah.
Okay, that's
He'll
fair.
have to notify people to
Okay.
get their items removed.
Well, okay, you have 90 days, so.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Otherwise, we'll get to be the proud owners of whatever's left.
Storage
Hey, you never know on those shows.
Sometimes they find
really good
gold.
stuff.
Sometimes they find good stuff.
Let's just hope everybody removes their items.
Yeah, we'll get the canvas.
Well, if there's nothing else,
Bradley,
Yeah,
Newcastle,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Nichols.
yes.
Rodenbeck,
yes.
Culpepper. I couldn't get my clicker.
that's
to
all
work.
right, I can't talk because my parcel's in my mouth. Oh. Motion carried to purchase the property of 300 East Grand River Road. Next item on the agenda is consideration of a full-time deputy clerk. Paula is overwhelmed. And her part-time help is a big help, but she also needs another person. She's gonna write grants, do what she's been doing for the city. She's gonna need help.
Well, and this comes from finance. Our perspective was, you know, God bless her, Paul is not going to be here forever. And it takes more than 6 months to learn how to be a city clerk and a treasurer and
Everything
learn
else.
the city and then have some continuity. I would think that it would be, you know, years of mentoring. And the city can afford it. And that would free up Paula to get us a bunch of this infrastructure money that's coming in August when they pass the bill. And also be able to train up a new someone not absolutely gonna inherit that position, but someone that would be in a position to know about the city. So from a finance committee's perspective, looking at how we're going to pay for it, you know, the wages are whatever. They're not attractive right now to someone who has that skill set that would apply for this, but the benefit package is. And the benefit package will ultimately create that longevity, we feel. So we are, as a finance committee, endorsing the motion to go ahead and consider the full-time deputy.
So basically, 'cause, I mean, we had, what, 2 part-time positions, correct? So we're just combining it into one. So it's gonna pan out the same, I guess, probably as having the 2 part-timers, correct?
if we go out and get another part-timer, they'll be around for a year and a half, and then we'll have to get another part-timer.
Right, but what I'm saying is pay wise, like if it's.
Yeah, that's about.
It'd be considered, one would be considered as both of them that they were.
But you're
Yeah, I
still
mean,
gonna have.
Cassie is still
Cassie.
gonna be here, so there's gonna be some overlap,
Oh, got ya.
but, you know, what is that longevity in that training worth?
Yeah,
It's
we've always
worth a lot
had
of
3
money.
people in the office since I've been here for over 20
I'm just thinking about what other people are gonna look at too for pay wise, because we combined 2 positions for 1 person and up the pay.
We're not
So we're-
combining two though.
I know what I'm saying is originally, when we lost a couple of the gals in the office, we upped the pay to combine the deputy or the clerk treasurer together. So I'm just looking at perspective of other people that, you know,
Look at it this way.
for the amount of pay.
You're freeing up Paula's time to get more free money from the government for grants. And that's gonna more than pay for what it costs to have this extra person.
Providing we can get grants, I guess.
Well, I
Two.
know-
I
Past
mean,
history
You can look
shows
at that
that
sheet.
Right, I know, but
we have progressively for the last 17, 18 years got grants. This city never got any grants until she started writing them, to my knowledge. Now, if you want to, everybody in the community wants to justify a salary over a year's time, over $10 million worth of grants over the last 15, 20 years, so be it. But that money isn't free to everybody, just us.
right, I'm just looking at people are kind of happy with what taxes are and everything else for the town and just looking at in their eyes too, I guess. I
Well, it's
hear,
true, but nobody's asked for a raise. I mean, as far as,
because I'm getting ready to it looks like they're trying to cut my stuff at work too, so it's like, I don't know, I mean, it's tough times right now and stuff too.
Well,
I guess.
Paula is not going to, if we hire somebody else, she will have the additional responsibility of training that person. It's not gonna be that she's just gonna drop off as city clerk and become a grant writer.
I mean, it's
She'll
still all
have-
their responsibility.
You will have the same responsibilities, only the additional responsibility of training somebody so that if and when you decide to retire, which is probably not gonna be that long, that the transition will be a lot more smooth.
well, when I came on as mayor, not that that's a big deal, but there was 2 full-time people in here, and then there was another person that's part-time at different hours of the day. Now, Paula could not do, nor anyone could not do grants and so forth because of the workload. And the workload has got bigger and more responsibility. And Cassie, and I just look at this as I'm thinking about, like you're saying about the employees, or we're stressing, is the fact that, number one, Cassie can't train anybody to speak of except what she knows specifically. So Paula's gonna have to do the same thing with Brian, so she's gonna have to be a mentor or tutor and do her job and write grants. And I believe myself, that in all honesty, from what time I've spent up here, it would be very beneficial for her to have a little bit of air to breathe on, because she don't have any air. The hours that she puts in, I'll dare anybody to compare hours that she puts in this city, that lives in this city, the hours she puts in for the city, and what she gets paid for. And I don't see anybody objecting to what I just said, because I think everybody pretty much knows that you couldn't hire anybody for what she's working and doing right now.
Brian, was that most of it you made?
Coming from, it's a recommendation from finance that we proceed with the consideration of a full-time deputy clerk.
Okay, I'll make that a motion.
Support.
We have motion support of the recommendation. Is there any other discussion that anybody wants to state? Not from him, we're gonna do a roll call.
Frontline,
Yes.
Dukas,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes,
Rodovan,
Yes.
Kopech.
Yes. Motion carried for movement on full-time deputy clerk, whatever time that is.
Thank you.
All right, on to bills, approval of bills.
a second.
Motion and a second to pay the bills.
Yeah,
Don't
Don't worry, I'm here for it.
Good, you got my back, so you always have.
No discussion on the bill.
No, I guess not.
Okay, Fred Line,
Yes.
Newcastle,
Yes.
Judd,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Roseback,
Yes.
Culpepper.
Yes. Motion on the bills is approved. Committee reports. All right, does anybody want to volunteer?
I'll do DPW.
All right, sir.
We have one action item for council, and that is the purchase of a John Deere Z994R zero turn at $13,405.19 from Huston Incorporated, formerly D&G Equipment. So I would like to make a motion that council approve the purchase.
What was the amount again? 13,000?
$13,405.19.
So he's got that odd change in there. I don't get that.
Support.
Yeah, and that's budgeted, right?
That
That
was my
purchase
next
was in the
question.
budget.
Are we replacing it with any other equipment or are we getting rid of something?
Dave was after work
That
right
is
now.
going, the one that we're replacing is gonna go to the backup.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Who moved that?
Newcastle,
I made a motion.
Alan did it. and
Roseback.
Roseback.
Fred Line,
Yes.
Newcastle,
Yes.
Roseback,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Judd.
Yeah.
Culpepper.
And then other updates is storm cleanup from 6/12 and 6/13. 3 trees were removed with the assistance of Ken's Tree Care. Cables have been removed from an uptown diner. Guess there's an ongoing issue, which I'm not familiar with. And for Councilman Rodebeck, we marked out approximately 396 feet at the river lot and meeting with the DNR on possibilities for future use. And the surveyors are scheduled to come in the near future.
Thank you.
On our way.
That should do it.
Is that it? All right. How about police?
Okay, we had 3 city ordinance violations, 2 civil complaints, 1 BWLS, 1 assisted MSP on an accident, 1 assist with Clinton County Medical, 1 assist with LSW ambulance and cardiac, 1 fleeing and looting, 1 identity theft, 1 mental health investigation, 1 DNR violation. Patrol miles is 1,110, 48 traffic stops. We've got 13 speeding tickets, 1 driving while license suspended, 1 stop sign, 1 expired plate. We got 32 traffic violations, 20 for speed, 6 for registration violations, 4 for defective equipment, 1 failed to yield a right of way, and 1 lane use. They're able to get our bulletproof vests. Chief, you want to go through that, or?
Yeah, we had to update our DUNS number that the city has, along with our federal government number, which is at sam.gov. Sam.gov did have us as a municipality, but nobody assigned to that account. So we had to jump through some hoops and paperwork to get that done. And so the federal grant for the bulletproof vests is a 50-50 match. This year, we do have to replace 4 of the vests. Our cost will be $1,372, and that's been budgeted for in my budget.
And we also assisted the fire department at DPW with the events that happened June 12th with the hailstorm, the storms that came through. The trees and power lines and communication lines were down. Patrol car 13 did receive some minor hail damage. We're upgrading the security system for Simply Safe in Clintock Park, working with DPW for installation of cameras and hopefully we get that going pretty soon. That's it.
Planning commission.
You're next.
The planning commission, we approved the site plan review for a Dollar General going in 7480 Woodbury Road. That's the old McPhail's building. There's gonna be a Dollar General going in there. And then we,
They're gone.
they're gone. There's nobody there. We also approved them a little less parking just because it was within the site plan review. 25% reduction in parking. And then we also discussed language amendments. And we're just going through all the amendments. There are lots of things. Figure stuff out. Anything else you think?
No, I think you covered most of it, other than the fact that I know this is another meeting. That I'm part of. So it's-
Okay.
I'm part of the planning too, but you're running that show, but I think that's it there. I've got the Downtown Development Authority, basically, the DDA is just going through and trying to figure out where they're really at with everything, but we did have the Cheryl, she was from the Shiawassee County Business Bureau, or I guess is short term of it, to help businesses start up and everything. She spoke to us for about 45 minutes and offered out the help and everything and what's available through the city, through the businesses and stuff for helping them start a business and so forth. But there is a lot of help and support over there in Owasso or Corona, where they're located, to help people get started. They can guide you the right way and where you need to go and start getting you ready for your plan and everything else, where you won't have so many hiccups or time constraints. So we listened to that, was quite impressed, had a little brochure and stuff. Paul had asked him to come in, I believe, and it was good. I mean, we learn something every time if you listen. If you listen.
She was very helpful.
Yes, she was. All right, who am I missing? You got,
Emergency services.
yeah,
Okay. Fire runs, we had 40 for May, 223 year to date. Ambulance was 11. May 90, May, okay, 91 for the year. The pagers that we discussed earlier last month are here in program. The new Lucas chest compression system was used this month and performed as expected. And I'm really happy to hear that because who knows when the next person in town might need it, and hopefully it'll work for them. Looks like that's about it.
Yeah, finance met too. There were 3 agenda items. We talked about deputy clerk position and then the property acquisition by the middle school, by the, what do they call it? EC.
yeah, so I always get it messed
Old
up, so
high
I try
school.
not to say it.
And then it's been an agenda item since last month about the investment with Huntington on some funds that we have that are currently making 0% interest. And after looking at their municipal program, we'll still have liquidity. And they'll put the money into like 3 different buckets. It's not a whole lot of interest, but on a couple of $1 million, 0.5% interest, you're talking about, I don't know, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a year could be. And hey, that's enough to hire a new employee. So anyway, we are gonna go ahead and recommend that Paula proceed with investing those of those funds at Huntington and at least getting some interest out of them. And this is not us controlling it. It's a municipal funding program. They know exactly what they're gonna do with the funds. They know about the laws pertaining to municipal funds, so they're not gonna go out and buy junk bonds with it.
It can only be used in
It's-
certain areas.
So I will put that in the form of a motion that Paula proceed investing funds with Huntington.
So,
Yes, support all over the place.
Yeah.
Any discussion?
No roll call on it. Redline,
Yes.
Newcastle,
yes,
Judd,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Rotabeck,
Yes.
Culpepper.
Yes. Is anyone here for the L recreation work
Or library.
or the library? The library would be self-explanatory pretty much. I didn't know if anyone had a report on the work. Well, some of you, I'll say something. Some of you seen the pictures in the paper and the crowd and everything. It was a wonderful evening as far as anybody that was there. To see as many active people and as many people that turned out. So we had a great night that night. Great introduction. This is one of the ladies that made it happen that we just already talked about. I didn't do anything. I was just here. She did it and they did it. And we met with her. So that's the good thing. And then Friday night, I don't know who went to music in the park.
I did. It was great.
I drove by because I got tied up taking family different places. And the next thing you know, I look down here and I goes, wait a minute. There isn't any parking spots in town. And I look down here and I can see people just wall to wall everywhere. And I go, there's gotta be 500 people down here.
Well, I
There was
heard a
cars
count of
everywhere.
350, but I don't know. I mean.
I wanted to go, but I was busy too. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I could hear it.
So, but yeah, I mean, the pictures that were sent to me were beautiful and it just sounded like we just had. I mean, I'm sure that we more than doubled what we had before we had the amphitheater.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
For sure.
good. Mhm.
Yeah.
There were people down dancing on the stage, Paula. It was so cute.
There was cars everywhere.
Oh, I know, parking
And
was.
you
Over
know-
by my house too. They were just lined up.
Yeah.
You know, and that's okay. I mean, if you go
Yeah.
to an event in East Lansing, you don't get to
Oh,
park
yeah, it was fun.
right in the grass next to it. I mean, how many of you ever been, to a basketball game and you have to walk 20 minutes
Go to a
sometimes?
football game, you gotta get on a bus.
And that
Yeah,
was-
Yeah.
so, I mean,
Don't expect that every weekend, but Root Doctor has a following like. you
They
would.
do, yeah.
And this is
well,
their
this
last
next
year.
week is Global Village and they have a good
I
following.
think
So, I mean, I feel like that, we see those and then the people start coming here, they're gonna check our website and then, now we gotta feed those people and we gotta keep them here. And so that's what
Yeah.
we need to work at.
Yeah.
And,
Get them parking.
Yeah. there we
well,
go.
we're gonna do
We're
that.
trying.
We're gonna do
you
that.
know, I
Might take a
mean,
little time, but we're
so,
gonna do that.
Dave and I have talked about a couple of things, and like we said, when this started, this was gonna be a learning curve. We're gonna, see how this summer went, and then what can we do to improve on it, which we're gonna talk about in September. We're gonna just get through the summer and make notes about what worked, what didn't, we already bought a big feather plume flyer that says parking, so that we can put it down there on High Street, so people know we have that parking lot, so that we can put it down there. So maybe people see those before they even get up here and realize, oh, there's no place to park. Then we have the food trucks and,
Should have bought that.
yep,
Event parking, $10.
Yep.
Tiger Stadium.
There you go.
My driveway.
Oh,
can
look,
house
he's
6
thinking.
cars.
I used to park at the car wash all the time.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's really fantastic to see. I mean, we had an event from the SEDP here. They had their annual meeting here, the Shiawassee County Economic
Yep.
Development.
And then they all
Partnership.
came down to the market.
And
Yes.
the
And to the
clothesline,
shop.
yeah.
And at the event, we had signs up about the farmer's market and the movies and the music, and we encouraged them to stay in Langsberg. And
A lot
But
of
they'll
on
put-
stage for the Twilligers music.
yeah, so bringing them in and keeping them here, I really feel like that's what we're trying to do. I mean, if not, then, what's that for? You know what I mean? It's for economic development and to get those people into town. So I think that it is definitely so far a huge success story. So,
Looks like it was a huge success to me. I wish I could have been down there.
I mean, we had the school play there, we, you know, we did a couple of churches this week, I think in another week, another church is gonna do their, like their Sunday mass there or whatever.
I've
and-
seen
Yeah,
them down there. a
yep,
couple
so
times.
they've asked to use it, and so I think that, you know, it's doing what we want it to do.
Where the paint off? That's,
So,
where the paint off?
so it
So much
sounds, it
stress.
just seems like it's going really well, so.
Well, good. No, did I miss anything? I don't think I did, but. Well,
Just the gentleman sitting up front, but that'll be after.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's observing us to see how crazy we are. No, he said, no. Well, I guess if anybody wants to go home, I'll take that.
Oh, we have
adjournment.
other,
Where?
you missed other,
Uh,
there's no other? Oh, I've gotta fix that, there's other.
It's too
Yeah,
late.
see what you fed me?
Oh, it says other, no, it doesn't.
Okay, others.
I have some others. So the ARPA funds, you know what those are, right? Everybody knows.
American Recovery Plan funds.
Yep, so, I looked up, we're supposed to get $134,499. But, I mean, I'm assuming that you would kick me in the butt if I didn't apply for them, but technically I should ask you if you want me to apply for those.
Motion.
Second.
I mean, honestly, there are communities that are saying no to them, so.
So
We
why,
just-
why
we
would they
discussed
say
that
no?
in finance too.
Apply for theirs too.
Well, and
Yeah.
if they do say no, then
I
those
agree.
funds will get thrown in the bucket and get spread out to those. who
So
did.
maybe we'll get more.
So, you know, there are people that don't want to go through the
Yeah,
red tape. There,
Just say no.
there would be red tape, you know, to get these funds, just so you know, but I mean,
Red tape for everything.
so for $135,000, I think we should try it. So there is a 156-page document of what the funds can and cannot be used for. I'm not fully aware of everything yet. Right now, I mean, I know Brian keeps talking about infrastructure, but right now, I know they're not talking about, you know, like road construction or like city hall, like building new city halls or whatever, but, you know, maybe, you know, handicap accessible doors on city hall, maybe. I don't think that kind of stuff, that, they're not expecting what cities had to fund those projects to have changed. But they want to look at things that help economic development, like we lost restaurants, you know, they want those back. They want to see the housing stock improved. So there's like a list of things that are important to the people that are providing these funds. I don't want to say the government, but I mean, the federal government has a list of requirements, so they will provide the funds, and then we have 2 years to decide on what we're gonna do with them. So we
We
need to,
need 2 years to read 154 pages.
right, well, hopefully I get that figured out before then, but I was on a webinar today, and the
That was
Michigan
my-
Municipal League provides they have a service that works for them that will help communities figure out what to do with the funds.
Nice.
One of the options is, I think that it will help with parks and recreation, so maybe help with the river front, you know, the river project. So, I mean, there's a lot of things out there, so I don't stop thinking about what we could use them for. So if we have projects, and that's why we always have projects on the shelf, right? That's why we do what we do. We have that capital improvement plan we're working on, which should have a list of a lot of things. And hopefully some of those fit into that, the ARPA funding. So that's what I'm hoping for. So I think that we have a motion.
We have a motion on the floor for you to move forward.
I don't know that I need a roll call vote on getting money, do I?
No, I'll just do it. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by aye. Motion
Okay.
carried. It's official.
So, the other thing was, Dave and I talked a little bit about the sound system that is currently housed in the library that the city and the DDA invested a lot into, and it's not being played. So, I know the park is talking about, you know, Lark wants to look at some sound system over there. We did look into a price for having it moved here so we could control it and play it. I don't know if we can move it over there, but is that anything somebody would like us to look into?
Well, don't move it twice.
Right,
If
right.
it's not
So,
being used now, put it somewhere place where
right,
you're
I
gonna
mean,
use it.
when I sit
Yeah.
downtown and have lunch, it would be great to hear the music playing.
I think
I'd
it
love to
being
hear
here
it,
is
but as
essential.
far
to
as
the
the
At least you can
mission.
control
microphones,
it, it's here.
don't you
Yeah.
have to be line of sight?
Yeah, at least use it.
No, for the
No?
microphones.
Yeah,
So we have large speakers downtown,
right,
and all of those are wired.
okay.
So, but then there's like a wireless cart that goes with it. And the guy will put whatever we need for that, right?
Correct. And it does have to be line of sight, but he up out and measured everything and he
Okay.
would put our line of sight.
Okay, so
antenna
that-
Be at the top of the bell tower.
So that's part of the price is moving some of those things.
Moving things around, furnishing.
We just kind of started looking into it because they were talking about a sound system over there.
I would like to have music more often.
And
yeah.
so I
I
think
like to
that,
hear it all the time.
I
I
mean,
think
I
it's
turn
part of
my
the
garage
appealing,
up, but
you know.
don't go very
Especially when you
far.
got outside seating.
yeah, we have that outside seating now. And so I
Depends on
feel
the
like,
playlist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and
Yeah,
that's,
do we have a good
Oldies
playlist?
all the time.
well, that we'll have to, figure out, but we
So
will,
we
you
need
know.
a motion?
No, I mean, we'll just keep working on it, I
Keep
guess,
working on
and figure out what the price would be, but I think we need to test it. Right? We need to make sure it's working and then we need to talk to whoever the powers would be that, know what they want over there. I mean, I don't know what they want or need at the park.
Right.
I guess all we need right now is consensus that what we're doing now is not working. And we
Right.
have a resource and we need to best figure out how to utilize that. So go ahead and figure it out.
worst case scenario, I want that music machine over here.
So that, that's one of the options. So then the other thing is that meeting we had last week to buy that 5-foot piece of property. Well, the state thought there must be some weird reason we wanted that 5-foot piece of property. So it made all the bells and whistles go off and she felt that the county did not notice it properly because GTE also owns that building downtown. And so they pulled it. So we get our funds back and all that, but it'll be back on, and I also feel like I may be able to make contact with GTE and just see if they want to give that piece of property to the school and the city with us purchasing that other piece. So we'll see what happens there, but
You need any authority on that any further?
no, that's just sort of,
Okay.
it's just a point of information. And then I want to give a little more update on what's going on with the river property. So in June, I applied for a $250,000 grant from Consumers Energy to build that. I've been working with a guy from DeWitt who he runs the Friends of the Looking Glass, and he has some ideas, and we kind of partnered for. He was talking about like a floating art park, and one of the things that we came up in our fit assessment was like arts and
Art.
culture. And so we're looking at maybe funding, putting some art downtown that would talk to the art on the river. So like, you might see something and then be able to do like a find on the river and we would be the most, is it easterly
Yes.
access to the river that there is. So that would be a really nice, like, you get people into town, they
Yeah.
get dropped off there. They
They're
float to
hungry.
Babcock or DeWitt, but they still have to come back here, get their car. So they're gonna be hungry, might need their car washed. I don't know. So, I mean, the intent would be to get people in, it's an attraction.
Mhm.
So,
Might actually open up a business opportunity
Right,
for
and-
somebody for a livery and a bait shop.
well, and then,
Or
or kayaks and, they're like, and just like, there's all, there's all kinds of like, I mean,
What we need is a motel.
we
And
do.
I'll build it in Bates Scout Park. And we'll
Bates
call it
Motel.
Bates Motel.
No.
So,
We have a lot of sub pumps in there.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
so, I mean, we have
We'd
done
be
some
famous.
things there.
Oh, boy.
The ARPA funds can help fund that. I talked to Ernie West, his wife Jen West runs the dance studio and he works for Delta Township, I think, a big township. Anyway, he's their private, their engineer on staff. And he said they built one, it was $650,000, but it was cement, it was handicap accessible, and it came in and out. So there's lots of options out there.
Is there grants for the handicap accessible to go along?
Yeah,
with
and
it
all
that
of
might
this was
piggyback?
funded, most of this was funded by the Land and Water Conservation Fund grants. So And the Eagle has grants, so in this, if the governor just, put
So it
like,
could turn into something
Yep.
really wonderful.
the governor just put a bunch of money out
Well, I'll get a
there.
hold of, Owasso, they just did that, and DNR helped. I think
Corona did
Corona
it.
or Corona.
Yeah,
It
we've
looked really
been in
nice.
contact. So, $150 million the governor just put up, I think it is, for, park and recreation funding. So, even if we get this consumers grant, there's lots of other options out there. I've also reached out to the county to find out if there are any zoning issues, and it's actually, a use by right. So it would be allowed to do what we want to do, because we already had some, unhappy, Scioto Township residents, because we're out there, we're measuring, we're looking at things, and they want to know what's going on, and so, I think that maybe we need to make some contact with Scioto Township Board to let them know what's going on, and so that, it doesn't feel like we're shoving something down their throat, or hopefully they would become a good partner. But, not asking for funding or whatever, but just,
We'll name it
Support
after,
'em.
we'll name it after them.
there you go.
Scioto Landing.
Scioto Landing, there you go, there you go. So, yeah, I mean, we actually have, we've made a lot of headway, Dave.
Thank you very much.
So, I mean, I think that it's really sounded like it might be something,
Let's start
You know,
collecting.
the guy from DeWitt loved it, he was super excited,
Do
and
we
he's,
know how far Clinton County has come as far as clearing the deadfalls out of the river?
Cassie actually, kayaks, and she did the float from there to, Babcock's, and it was clear.
I saw them out there. They were
So-
busy for a while.
And I think
Clear.
the DeWitt guy said it was clear to
I
DeWitt,
think it's to Wood Road
Okay.
anyway, because
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah, I've
clearing
seen
down
back,
through there.
yeah.
back to
So,
Chandler Road, you see a lot of clearing.
And,
too.
that Looking Glass Group is a great partner, that I made there, so I feel like that, we've got some good contacts, and there's some options, and Eagle has been, they've been great, they didn't charge us anything to come out and, look at it, and what did they do, Dave? You were there.
They did a walkover with the round penetrating sonar thing.
It's kind of like they were just looking into the
It was
ground.
looking and it measured by reflection to tell them what
Was under the
was there,
soil.
how deep it was buried. And their goal is for us to get it surveyed, brush out down, and they want to come out with an actual walk behind sonar, but everything that they picked up with that one looked really good, so.
And it just seems important to find out what's actually there, since
Sure.
we know there's some history with that property that leaves us with uncertainty, so.
I know there's a lot of fishing clubs that really like the access.
We just have some ideas about like painting the bridge over there, so that it would clean all that up and it'll look nice, and it's probably less than a mile from right here to that site. So I think it can't be anything but good for economic development, arts, making this a better place to live, so.
And the city actually has property right up to the other side of the road, correct?
Yep.
On the west side.
Yep.
It's kind of low.
I mean, I don't know if y'all know where it is, but I do have the map of it,
Right.
but we've been out there a couple times looking at it, and
And
I contacted Eagle, and they were, they were all over.
This
They
side
think
of
it's a
the river?
great,
it would
project.
benefit us
So,
winter
Put
wise
it
too,
on this
because
side of the river.
like when we
You
plow,
replace the
bridge
culverts,
out
no,
the
it's
winter
on
road,
the
it's the safest place for us to
And
turn
then the
around.
river.
there you go.
So it goes
Well, I mean, we're
like that.
thinking,
The river
Yeah.
on the left-hand side and goes to the other side.
you know where Bellins lived?
Across the street.
Kind of down, well, right down there, right, Dave?
It's by
Further
Suggett's.
west.
So it's
It's-
across away from it, I think.
Oh,
It's right by,
between the
It's the
curve and the
northeast
bridge.
corner.
okay.
I know,
I went over there. I just couldn't
Carol
figure out
Smith.
which. Okay.
Dave Smith or Carol Smith.
No.
It's directly right across from their house right there. Just the house before the bridge, basically is.
It's right out, you know where the sawdust Santa is?
Yeah.
It's right out there.
it's right, but it's across the road from the city's property, that, like the lagoon area.
Right.
So
Okay.
we actually own both sides of the road there
Yeah.
on the river, but it's a beautiful piece of property.
Yeah,
I
I
saw
just
some
wondered
people
if we
that
could
fish
put
on
an
the other
access trail, a hiking trail from the city to it.
That'd be kind of cool too.
I'm sure we could.
One
Keep
thing at a
talking about
time,
walking.
Rebecca.
Yeah.
We keep talking about walking community, and I know there was a lot of grants at one time for walking communities to install trail
Yeah.
systems.
Well, there may be $135,000, $1 million being out there where we might get a piece of, it, you never know. That
So,
might be
yeah,
one of the
we're,
criteria is-
We don't want to limit the possibilities, but, we're thinking, we could do a pavilion, we could do a parking lot, we could do, well, I mean, it just kind of depends on what kind of funding we find and,
A little map showing all the little highlights.
yeah. And then if we get the, the art piece in there, we might tap into another,
I
set
think
of funding, so.
The opportunity is endless.
You never know, Sawdust Santa might want to go out there and have some kind of Christmas, something going on too.
You just don't know what could develop. I mean, that's the thing. You build it, they'll come. That's the old saying, and that's what we've experienced, so.
I think that's all I have for other.
Well, thank you very
Oh,
much.
good.
Sorry.
Seeing you didn't list it here.
I know, dang it, I missed other.
So, all right, is there anything else anyone has this evening?
The city is spraying, correct? Because I get
Yes.
that
Can
question.
we talk
all
about
the
mosquitoes,
time.
please?
We can't do it in the rain, I'm
We're
sure.
sick of
The
mosquitoes.
temperature's gotta be just right too.
But if somebody
It's all on
asks,
Mother Nature.
why
Yes,
doesn't the
we
city
sprayed
spray?
twice.
They are
The goal-
spraying.
We've done it twice. The goal this week is Wednesday and Saturday, Mother Nature allowed.
Okay.
And
So the
Mother
first
Nature
time
and
anybody saw a
Culpeper Swamp.
mosquito this year was July 7th.
Let's just
Yeah.
put DEET in the water.
I'm just saying, there was no mosquitoes
My
until July
wisdom.
7th
Typically, we're carried away in June.
or May.
Wisdom.
Usually I'm spraying the week
But it
before.
kills
it
everybody.
comes.
Yeah, I don't want that.
It's very indiscriminate.
Well, like I told you, if you need test area, I got lots of water down there and I got more mosquitoes than this city's ever seen.
Yeah, and we, people need to
Global
do
warming.
things in their own yards
Yeah.
too. I mean, we
I
have
got
people with
sprayed.
tires and other things in their yard that have water and they, harbor the mosquitoes. And so, I mean, we need
Koi ponds.
residents, yeah. koi
I'm just
ponds.
kidding.
The koi eat the mosquitoes, that's a wonderful.
And
No,
my
I know,
frogs too.
yeah, totally.
My
We
bullfrogs.
put up
like
bat
it, too.
houses, I don't know.
I
but-
got bat houses. I got one next door too, a big one.
I just told Jim I wanted a bat house.
We finally started just keeping track of how many people. were
Actually, there are a bunch of bats. over there.
Yeah, shoot, one day it was
I have
9
a
people
bad
or
house
something.
next to
I'd
me.
been up here in the morning. It's like, I'm going home. I don't want to hear it. She's, are you complaining about mosquitoes? I said, you bet your.
I
butt
go,
I
you're
am."
on my list.
I'm on, you put me
All right,
down.
all right, I'm officially sorry I brought that.
How about adjournment?
up.